Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome back to the show. You're listening to Vibin It with Kelsey, Aida, and Lindsay Robinson. And we have a lovely guest today, Miss Hailey Rowe. And she is a marketing and sales strategist. She's also the co-owner of Power Player, which is a marketing company. And today we're going to pick her brain about not only marketing and sales, but really more the mindset pieces of like, how can we get over imposter syndrome and how can we create sustainable income for ourselves and just whatever else comes up in today's inspired conversation. So, Hailey, thank you so much for joining us. Thanks for being here and tell everyone a little bit more about yourself.
Yeah, well, I'm really excited to be here and thanks so much for having me. I am as you said, marketing and sales strategist, but also do marketing services. And I really love the fact that being an entrepreneur, and I think your audience who's into personal development will relate to this, it forces you to be into personal development. You can't be an entrepreneur without having to grow, without having to face mindset blocks, without having to maybe face your money fears or money blocks. So I'm excited because part of what I love the most about having a business and doing this is the personal growth that has to happen to be able to do it.
Girl, that is so true. Because I love how you said it, because I always wondered, like, how come entrepreneurs are so into personal development? Like, the worlds just seem to coincide. And now that you just made it all make sense for me, I'm like, oh, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Because there are a lot of personal barriers you have to break through and next levels you have to reach, and a lot of mindset work involved in doing that. Otherwise, you're just never going to grow in your business.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a quote that's like, if you haven't hit your goals, it's because you haven't become the person you're meant to become to be able to do that. So it's really not about what you're doing, it's who you become.
Yeah. When you're ready for whatever it is you're asking for, you'll have it. You know, like I think that's true whether you're an entrepreneur or not. When you're trying to manifest or attract or achieve any goal, if your mindset's not there, if your energy isn't there, you're just going to be working and working and working and wondering why it's not happening yet. But once you get your energy aligned and get that personal development and get the mindset on the right track, like you're good, you're golden. I like that you mentioned that.
I feel like it's a cool quote because it can help to motivate someone to like become that next level version of themselves, but it also could be like soothing from another perspective to like take it in as, oh, if I don't have what I want yet, that just means it's because I'm not quite ready. And like that's okay too.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's okay, guys.
Everything is okay.
Let's repeat it. That's okay.
We all survived 2020. We're moving into 2021.
Oh my God. Can I just say, like, this is the first show back since we had a little break. So welcome back to our listeners. We're very excited to get right back into it. But can I just say, like, we have earned a good year. I feel like with what we've been through, and for some it's been worse than others, but I feel like we've earned a little bit of good vibes for 2021. And this whole year people are like, please let 2021 be a good year. And I'm like, well, it doesn't really have a hard act to follow. As long as it's not worse, I think we're going to be fine.
The bar is set pretty low, yeah. And it's like, it's what you make it. I mean, I had a great year in 2020, knock on wood. And I'll probably have a great year again. So if you're listening to this podcast, you can do it. You can do it.
We have earned it. You know, as hard as it was, it was a great year for me too. I was very lucky, fortunate, prosperous. And I just think that regardless, we've had hard moments, it's been a challenge, especially if you're a parent. It's just a challenge. We have to upheave our whole lives and turn it upside down. And whether you're doing good or not, you still can't go outside. So like everyone's having to struggle. So yes, you've earned it. You worked for this. You got this. What was I talking about?
You're talking about 2021.
2021, yes.
Better.
Yeah, 2021 is going to be fantastic. It just is.
And I think that leads us perfectly into the question of like, and Hailey, this is for you. How can we handle the imposter syndrome that comes up in any area of our life when we really are ready to take it to that next level and we want to step into like who we're meant to be?
Yeah. So I think the first thing is let's define what that means as far as, anybody who is new to that term. To me, that means that you feel like you're not enough, or you're not, they might be able to do something, but you can't. And you kind of get into comparing yourself and thinking that, I'm not good enough, why bother? And so in order to conquer that or manage it, and I say manage it because it's never, every new ceiling you break through, it's always still going to be there. There's going to be a new thing of, oh, well, now I know I can be a 6-figure earner, or now I know I can do this, but could I really be a 7-figure earner? Or I don't know. No, that's just for me. That's for them, not for me. So it's always going to be there. You just have to be able to move forward and let your choices not be ruled by that. And so anytime you have a negative emotion or a negative thought come in, the key is to not resist it, not repress it, but to actually say that it's welcome, it's part of the journey, it's okay to be there. And like two hands press, if we had, when it comes to resistance and like resisting those thoughts, most people just try to say, oh, well, I'm going to just pretend it's not there. I'm going to push it away. And if you think about it, if we had two hands pushing against each other and one person dropped their hand, then the other person would drop their hand and it would dissolve, right? The pushing would dissolve. So it's the same thing with negative feelings and thoughts. We need to say, okay, you're welcome here, and not, then they don't have as much power over you. So become aware of them, catch yourself when you're going down that rabbit hole before you go down too deep. Widen your view and ask, well, what else is true? Okay, yes, maybe I haven't become a 7-figure earner yet, or maybe I need to learn X, Y, and Z skill, and I'm kind of new to this. But what else is true? Well, I have conquered X, Y, and Z. Well, I could ask so-and-so. Well, and you start to look into becoming a creative, solutions-oriented person rather than somebody focused on all of the lack and all of the things you can't do. So welcome it is number one. And then number two, make sure that when you have these negative thoughts, the truth, it feels so weird because it's not true. It's not really who you're supposed to be. So the reason why it's even there and you're feeling bad about it or guilt about it, or like, why am I not moving forward, is because it's not natural. Your naturalness is to be moving forward without fear, to be your, authentically you and showing up for your business or whatever it is, your goals, and to not have those limitations. So, and the last thing I would say is give yourself mini challenges. So in other words, if you feel like I'm afraid to, I don't know, go on video for my business, or even if you're not a business owner, I'm afraid to go to the gym because I'm new and I'm going to look stupid or whatever. Make sure you set something like, okay, I'm going to go live for 5 minutes. And the deal I'm making with myself is I can delete it when I'm done if I want to for today, or I can go hide in a hole after this. This is like, I'm channeling my Sasha Fierce personality, and then I'm going to go hide in a hole after this. So that's, start small. And if you ever are curious about just forming habits, because that's part of it too, is in order to break through imposter syndrome, you just have to take action, right? I really like the book Atomic Habits because they talk about how you can start to form those kinds of habits that are aligned with the person you want to be.
The more you talk, the more I'm like, she's one of us. I mean, you're saying exactly what we say. But you're so much more in like, I mean, perceivably you're in like more of a entrepreneur field, working with people on, mindset and strategy and all this. And we're like, just manifest it. Just ask it. But honestly, like the more two seemingly different, areas talk, the more you realize we're talking about the same thing here, and it's just so beautiful. Like whether you're more of like a strategy person or an intention person or an inspired person, like it's all the same. It's just whatever you vibe with. So thank goodness for people like you, because people like us might scare others sometimes, depending on, but yeah, we are talking about the same thing. And this is great. I love that you said, like, no matter where you get in your journey, you're going to have another challenge. Like it's going to show up again. And a phrase came to mind that I've said a few times on the show, and it's that it doesn't get easier, you just get better. And I think that's the goal, is just to know how to handle it and to have tools in your toolbox that you can refer back to and push past it maybe quicker than you did last time. And the mini challenges are, I need those. I'm actually doing a live stream event in my group. I've never done this before. I'm super nervous and scared every single time I hit the record button. When we started doing the podcast, I was I don't even want to go back to the first early episodes.
You guys, you need to know this about Lindsay. Lindsay used to even refuse to show her face on Instagram stories.
Aww.
Do you know how much I had to cheerlead Lindsay on to be like,
oh my gosh,
do it. It's okay. Also, you have a gorgeous face. Like everyone wants to see it.
Do you know what's funny though, is I think that it was the live piece, especially with the podcast, with Instagram stories, the same, like it's the live piece. So doing the podcast and like Hailey said, just kind of doing it, I'm so much more at ease when I know that it's live versus like if I know I can redo it, oh my gosh, I'll redo it 50 times. I just will. So to know that it's live is so much easier at this point, but it's still scary. And I think for me, it's just, I don't know why it's scary, but for some people it's just nerve-wracking. So I agree with Hailey, just do it. You'll be so proud of yourself when you do it, even for 5 minutes, and then you don't delete the video, or even if you do, you still did it. And so you can check it off the list and maybe feel more empowered next time. And take it from me, because I'm with you. I'm totally with you when it comes to that. But yeah, you can use that in any area. So I like that you said that. Mini challenges, really good.
Hailey, I also really loved when you were talking about how when we have negative thoughts, the reason why they feel bad is because they're actually untrue. And that's like your truth meter being like, ding, 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 we have a losing thought here. This is not working. This is not actually who you are. I'm going to make you feel bad. I'm going to make you feel discord, because that's really like our inner compass being like, yo, that shit ain't right. That's not true.
Yes, totally. It's like our minds and our thoughts can either work for us or really work against us and make us feel bad, but we have a choice to observe those and let them lose their power over us and choose different thoughts, or we can go down that rabbit hole, like you said, Kelsey, which is not fun.
Yeah, and the non-resistance piece is so important, because naturally, or maybe not naturally, but like what we've been taught is to push against things that we don't want or we don't like. And from a universal perspective, just how energy works, like what you resist persists. If we're pushing really hard against our negative thoughts, that's only going to worsen the problem. But if you just invite them in and understand where they're coming from, maybe bring a little validity to your fear or your anxiety or whatever, and be like, hey, I get why you feel this way, but we don't need to feel this way. That's a whole different energy than just no negative thoughts, I'm only high vibe, blah blah blah.
Yeah, we were just talking about that. What is it? The myth that you have to feel good all the time. It's interesting that you say like our thoughts are powerful. Of course, we say this all the time, but like I was just having this conversation with my 4-year-old, incidentally, who he is so powerful that he can allow one tiny thing to wreck his whole day, right? And so I kind of said it in those words, like, look how powerful you are. That one tiny thing just ruined your whole day. Imagine what you could do if you just used it in a way that felt better. And of course, he was just all in his feelings, so he didn't really receive. He's only 4. But, it's the same. Any adult can understand this. Like, you've gotten this far in your life without really being intentional. Maybe not. Imagine what you could do if you just were intentional, if you just meant to, if you just used your thoughts and the power of your mind to create instead of whatever you're doing. For everyone it's different, but for a lot of people, that unintentionality, is that a word? I think it's a word.
Now it is.
It is now. We'll just bring you whatever it is that you're putting out there, and for sometimes it's not great. So imagine what you could do if you were intentional. Anyway,
I like that.
Good
lessons for the 4-year-old, for everyone.
I know, right? Maybe if I teach it to him now, he'll have a better time of it than I did.
Well, that's another confidence building exercise that I do with my clients, where we focus on the teeny tiny wins or signs like, oh my God, somebody, reached out to me about a call, or, oh my God, I went live today. And tracking those little tiny wins gets your brain looking for the good rather than those things that your 4-year-old's, focusing on one thing and letting it ruin his day. So I think that's another thing for imposter syndrome and building your confidence. If you struggle with that, start tracking your wins and what's right with you, because so often we're always looking at what is wrong.
Yes, that is a life hack for everyone in every area of life. Celebrate the little wins, because really it does reprogram your brain. And I can speak from experience, because when I was coming out of a 3-year-long severe depression, and this is when I started learning a lot of things that made me want to become a teacher, I was doing a gratitude journal, and every day I would journal things that I was thankful for, things that were working out in my life, things that would happen during the day that were nice, like if someone held the door open for me, or if I saw a butterfly, or if I got to take a walk. Just every little thing, I would document it, and it made me feel so good. And 3 weeks of doing that, I went from having depression to being happier than I had ever been even before I was depressed. So it works, you guys. You can really reprogram the neural pathways in your brain when you look for what's right.
Totally. I love that.
Even if it's just waking up in the morning or having food in your fridge. Some people, I've struggled, before, like, well, what do I put? But food in your fridge, a roof. Some people don't have a roof. There are things that we take so for granted that, again, once you focus on it, it becomes like a reflex. Like if I were to go write a gratitude list right now, I would at least have, it's only noon here, and I know I would at least have like 25 things to write about, because I know to look for that. And it takes practice, flex the muscle, it'll get stronger, but yeah, it definitely works, people.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And speaking of flexing muscles, let's talk about consistency and
I thought
how
you were going to talk about exercise.
No.
I'm actually a certified, all that stuff, personal trainer.
Oh,
really?
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Is with it. I love it.
Yeah.
I was going to say consistency with goals in general, because I think everyone can relate to, okay, now it's been a little bit of time into the new year. I don't want to lose stamina on my goals and my intentions and what I want to achieve. So what are some of your best tips, tricks, mindset hacks for just having more consistency and moving forward?
Yeah. Okay. So I love this, and I'm a big fan of consistency. So one of the main things I do is I use the Goal Streaks app to track my consistency, really. And anytime you're trying to form a new habit, first of all, make sure it's broken down small enough that you're actually going to be able to consistently do it. Number two, put it in the Goal Streaks app and start to build your streaks. So maybe you do it one day and then you take a break, and then you build 2 days and then you take a break, and 3 days and 4, etc. So that's one thing that I love is the Goal Streaks app. Another thing is know how powerful your environment is, because I think so often we have this like amazing idea that we're going to do something like, oh, I'm going to stop by the gym, but then the gym's like not on our way home, or it's like really inconvenient. So make sure that whatever you're picking, you are asking, how can I set up my environment to, number one, remind me? Because if it's new, we're going to forget about it. Unless we're seeing it a lot, we're reminded, we have something keeping us accountable, like an appointment or whatever, right? So set up your environment for success. And I like to do that by, number one, putting it in your calendar. Number two, if you could put a Post-it note or something where you're around and you're reminding yourself. And then number three, I also like to write my goals, like write what you want to be consistent with in present tense each morning. The other thing you have to do when you want to be consistent is to make it, the habit, attractive and fun. So if it's something you're dreading, ask, how can I make this, pair it with something you want to do either, or set up a small reward that's not going to sabotage the specific habit, something like that. And then the last piece is remove any friction or things that are making it really hard to do. So if you are wanting to start exercising 3 hours a week, but currently your week is completely blocked out and has been, and your excuse has always been, I've never had time. Well, what could you remove off your plate, outsource, etc., to make the time for the exercise? Because and a lot of times the things that you do before a habit leading up to a habit are more important than the actual habit, meaning like clearing your schedule so you could do that thing, or signing up for the class that you paid for and now you have to show up to, or putting out your gym clothes, or whatever it is, that should be prioritized more than the actual habit. And one more thing before I forget, rather than forcing yourself to have intensity, meaning like, oh, I'm going to do high intensity interval training, I'm going to do it all the time, whatever. Instead, focus on just getting the frequency first. Doing something. If you say exercise, okay, it could be a walk one day, it could be dancing another day, it could be something really hard, whatever, but it needs to be every day. And so the frequency is more important than the intensity.
I like that a lot, because something that's been coming to me is that energetically, the year 2021 is all about sustainability. And the universe really wants us to figure out how to make every single area of our life super, super sustainable. And the only way you can sustain habits is if they're not super extreme ones that are going to make you burnt out after like 3 weeks of doing them, right? Because people are like, oh, I'm going to lose 100 pounds by March. And like, then they're tired after 2 weeks of going to the gym, like for 3 hours at a time. It's
Sounds
not
horrible.
sustainable. So it's like these new habits that you want to bring into your life and incorporate. I think these are all really great tips for making them long lasting and setting yourself up for success.
I got goosebumps when you said that.
It's because it's true.
It is true. And I've noticed, without really trying or like focusing on what you said, I know that it's true, because I find myself doing that in 2021. Like, I'm really looking for like, how can I grow bigger and not burn the F out?
Well, and these are the questions we should be asking ourselves, like,
Yeah.
are my finances sustainable? Is my business sustainable? Are my work hours sustainable? Are my exercise habits sustainable?
Is my self-care
diet
sustainable?
sustainable? Like, is
Yeah.
everything you're doing sustainable and helping you to be the most resilient version of yourself? So, as far as like money and business and entrepreneurship goes, what kind of tips do you have for, because I know one of your taglines is like creating sustainable income. So maybe we could have you speak to that a little bit now that we had that exercise example, which was great, by the way.
Oh yeah, I love it. Thank you. Yes. So to me, what makes something sustainable is if you have a system around it, and if you really taken the time to build that out. So in the beginning, I work with my clients on, and I present to them that there's short-term strategies to build your income and there's long-term strategies to build your income. And sometimes we just got to focus on the short-term because they're getting started, they really need to make some money, and that's fine. But at the same time, we want to have a balance between the two. So when it comes to sustainable income, one of the best things is if you can have reoccurring, like develop a offering, a business model that not only maybe has a high ticket program or something like that, but also has something that's reoccurring revenue. So is that a subscription, like a monthly subscription thing? Is that a membership site? Whatever, right? If you're not a business owner and you're trying to build more sustainability in your income, then I would say look into things like investing in mutual, index funds. I mean, obviously I can't give that advice, but like, I don't want to lose those people. But for business owners, I do suggest like something into your value ladder of offers that is sustainable and recurs. And the other thing when it comes to sustainability is you, the business owner, number one, have to really take care of yourself so you're coming with a full cup and you can keep doing the daily things that you need to be doing. And then number two, develop a small idea, like a checklist or something that consists of your money generating activities. So for me, that would be things like every day I need to be in the beginning, before I had a team, it was like, I need to be doing X amount of hours of outreach and networking calls. I need to be doing X, one podcast a week is my goal. And, whatever else. So for you, if you have a team now, it's more like, I need to have my team doing X amount of outreach. I need to be doing developing the systems for them so that they can do that. Things like that. So just make sure you identify what those income generating activities are and do those, rather than getting distracted by shiny object syndrome and all the different things that might not be sustainable, but they're in your attention and you think you need to do them right now, and you really don't.
You really don't. What will push the needle forward in a way that feels good? And most of the time, it's not what everyone else is doing. That's something I had to learn. I was like, oh, it's working for them. I'm going to do it. Oh, it's working for them. I'm going to do that too. And I just did all of it.
I've
And
been
it was,
very,
nope.
right now, I've been very tempted. I don't know about you guys, but I'm seeing Clubhouse, the new app.
Oh, yeah.
Heard of it?
What is that?
It's this new thing, and I'm like, oh, I gotta get on Clubhouse, and I'm like, wait a minute.
Is it like a new social media? What is it?
Yeah, it's a new social media. It's an audio. It's an audio based thing. So in other words, you go into these little talk rooms with people, and then it's not saved, nothing's recorded. It's just like live conference, and then it's over. So people are leading classes and things like that. But
see, now that I could do, because no one has to see me.
I know. It seems fun, right? But I realized I'm on it. I set up a profile. I don't know if I will use it right now. It's not on my top priority list.
Oh my gosh. Another one. Here we go.
I like that you mentioned priorities, because I kind of wanted to go into that next, like priority and time management, because I think anyone can relate to struggling with, what should I actually be doing to achieve my goals? Where should I place my time? There's so many things to do, so little time. So I'm guessing, Hailey, that you have like a morning routine around this, or some sort of like list or formula. Do you have some sort of practice that you can give us to help people really prioritize what matters?
Yes. So there's two parts. One is from a business standpoint. Always understand that the amount your success is equal, if you're a service-based person, is equal to the amount of offers you make minus the amount of no's that you get. And literally that's it. So whatever is related to you getting closer to making more offers to more people, then that's a good idea, right? Now, from a standpoint on a personal level, like planning your day out, every morning I really like, okay, I'll back up. So for the week, I have my weekly habits that I want to hit, like things that I just want to do on a daily basis. And that's one category. Then I have high priority things, meaning if I don't do this thing this week for my business or my personal life, there's going to be consequences. So that is another category on my list. And then there's like things that would be really nice to do, but they don't need to be done this week. So I kind of have like a someday list. And then another list that's kind of like moderate priority that kind of needs to be done this week. So once you can have your own system for making your weekly whatever you want to do. But once you have that, then on a daily basis, I pick just 3 things that are top priority and related to my goals. And usually they can't be tasks that take longer than 30 minutes, because otherwise that means you didn't break it down enough to be setting yourself up for success. So if it's like build a website and it's like on your to-do list today, like, whoa, how about we just start with what is the,
buy the domain or something.
Yeah, buy the domain. Exactly. So those top 3 priorities are what keeps me sane and like anchored to what I need to really do before I do anything else. And then also I don't know about you guys, but I use Brendon Bouchard's high performance planner. And I like that a lot because it asks you like, what might trip you up today? And how will you plan for that? Things like that. So yeah, I would say that's the main thing.
Hey there, thanks for watching this video. If you'd like to watch the extended version where you get the full podcast episode in a video format, just go to patreon.com/highvibe. The link is in the description. That's where you can become a supporter of the show, listen to all the episodes via video format, and each week you get extended versions of the show, meaning you get to see the pregame behind the scenes, and also you get an extended interview with whoever we're guesting, or if it's me and Lindsay, we usually pull cards for you guys, fun stuff like that. So go check it out. There's lots of cool goodies, including a free copy of my book, a free audio hypnosis from Lindsay. She's a hypnotherapist. And yeah, we just want to give you all the goods, all the content. So head over to patreon.com/highvibe to become a Patreon.
Or if you'd rather listen to the rest of this episode, head over to highvibinit.com where you'll see all the links to everywhere that it's getting streamed. Click your favorite one and be sure to subscribe so you don't miss an episode. Thanks for listening.